guys, it's Julian, and today I'm going to be breaking down how I made my new track, Eon Flux. If you haven't heard already, I just dropped a new EP called Eon Flux. It's on Oscuro Music. You can find it on my channel. It's probably in the related videos to this. But today I'm going to be breaking down how I made the title track for this EP. So here's the project file. You can see it's all laid out here. It's really not that many tracks. It's only like 33. The thing about this track is I think I did a good job. A lot of these aren't turned on as well, but I feel like I did a good job of kind of like, you know, focusing it. Like a lot of times with techno tracks, it can be easy to have so much stuff going on and have a million things, and it's like you're trying to carry this track along with multiple different elements. But if you can just kind of like focus it and keep it to as few elements as possible, I find it really sounds the best, and I think I did a pretty good job of that here. So the first thing I'm going to show you up here are the drums, actually. Like, here's the kick. This is just one of my kicks. You can see pretty standard stuff. We got a kick. We got some rumble. I got the rack. You know, we got delay, distortion, auto filter, compressor, side chaining it, and then EQ, just cleaning it up. Then we just got a bit of drum bus on the whole kick. I've got this filter here, which is like automating throughout the track. You can see that. And then we've got an EQ8 there, just boosting the low end, boosting the highs, and then cutting the low mid-range. So yeah, there's the kick. Very simple, but I wanted to show you, like, the techniques I show you guys in these videos really work for making actual tracks. Like, I'm not just trying to show you stuff that's going to sound good in a video and then, like, it doesn't really work when you're trying to make a track. This is all stuff, everything that I do, the same process that I would use to make a professional track like this. So yeah, there's the kick. The other drums we got, like, we've got a percussion bus. I have like this thing. I'm pretty sure this is a loop. Yeah, this is one of those Vengeance Central Club Sounds loops. So with this track, I was trying to bring in a little bit of that kind of like old school, sort of like ravey, trancey kind of sound. So having something like this, you can see I chopped it a little bit, but having something like this in there definitely goes a long way for doing that. And then we got like this clap. And then on the group of that stuff, you can see I've just got a bit of drum bus, bit of compression, a bit of EQ. I like sometimes to split, like I have the hi-hats in one group and then the percussion in another. It can work really well that way. And then I've also got the hi-hats up here, so we've got pretty standard layers. We've got a ride, we've got a... We've got this hi-hat. This is just like Ableton's 909 hi-hat, and then we have this one as well. And this also gives me a chance to sort of address something. I feel like a lot of times people talk about like certain styles of techno, and they say like, oh, it's just about using sample pack loops, and it's just about, you know, putting together loops. It's not real techno because you're not creating everything on a modular synth. And it's like, so you can see here, I actually use some sample pack loops. This is a sample pack loop, and so is this. And like I said, I want to use this opportunity to kind of show you, it's like, it's not always just about, oh, they use a sample pack loop. Like, the fact that this is a loop from a sample pack is a very, very, very small part of the final sound. Like, it really just doesn't matter at all. And, like, I want to say this, too, because it's like, you can see, like, how much work really has to go into it. Like, it's not just, I dragged in a loop from a sample pack, and just, that is my track. Congratulations, I have $1 million. Everybody wants to sign me. It's like, it doesn't really work that way. It's like, you use a loop from a sample pack, but you still have to have the skills and the knowledge and the ability to make it sound good on your own. Like, these loops, like, I'll show you. If I turn off all this processing that I did, that's my work, that is, you know, a result of my effort and understanding of production. If I turn this stuff off, it really doesn't sound that good. It's like, again, the fact that these are sample pack loops is a really, really, really small part of, like, what actually matters in terms of the track. And I just want to point that out because I feel like it's like this fantasy almost. It's like certain people just have this idea in their mind. It's like, oh, people would just use sample pack loops. And then when you say that, it's like, whoa, how could you? But, like, again, it really doesn't matter. Like, this would not sound as good as it does if it weren't for the years and years of work and effort that I put into learning how to make it sound good. So, yeah, never shy away from using sample pack loops. But then in terms of, like, other stuff in the track, we've got some synths down here. We've got, like, this 303. You can see I've got a few different patterns with this one. This one, actually, I think I started with a preset. It is, yeah, it's just 3 silver lines. I think I played around with it a little bit. But then the interesting thing here was sort of like playing with the preset. Again, it goes back to what I was saying before. It's like, yeah, okay, if I want to just use this preset and go, I could do that, but I didn't do that. I used my knowledge and my skills with music theory to take a preset and just sort of use it for inspiration. But you can see, like, we have all this cool stuff here where I'm sort of playing off of that rhythm that it's got, because you can hear it's got, like, this arp in there. And so we're kind of just playing off of that with the notes. And then you can see I've got a few different patterns as well. Like, some of them just do like that. There's also a bit of automation on there. Yeah, you can see I'm automating the cutoff of the filter, like, throughout the track. Again, this is what takes it from a sample pack or a preset and really makes it your own and makes it like something creative. There's nothing wrong with using these things. They can give you a lot of good inspiration and kind of give you ideas that you wouldn't have on your own, but it's just like all about knowing how to make it your own. And that's not the entire crux of this track either, but just kind of talking about that. But yeah, so there's the 303. We've got like this little lead synth down here, this one. Here's the MIDI on that. I was going for like this dark kind of like almost like old school techno sort of thing. Here's the synth. I made this one using Serum. There it is. Yeah, you can see it's just like a super saw wave, or a super saw, and then we've got distortion, a little bit of chorus. I've also got, then we got like guitar rig on here. And back to that guitar rig tape echo. Sounds so good. We got some Valhalla Room, a little bit of OTT, LFO tool, auto filter. Pretty simple. The main thing with this one is like how it fits underneath that 303, because there's a lot going on with the 303. So that's why I kept the notes really simple on this one. That's why the notes on this one are just like, it's literally just 3 or 4 notes. And yeah, you can hear the automation on that one as well, keeping it dynamic. We got this pad down here made with the M1. You can see that's just playing a G sharp minor chord. And then it adds in this little voice here and there. Yeah, you can hear that just kind of gives it something a little bit like darker and more emotional on a few points, as opposed to if you just have it droning on the G sharp minor chord. And with this chord, what I've done is, it is just like a straight G sharp minor chord. Like you can see, if I put these here, there we go. We just have root note, minor third, fifth. But then I've just spread it out across the keyboard. So we've got the root note doubled up an octave down, and then we've got the third, the minor third, I should say, up an octave. So like, you know, just kind of spreading the chord out to make it fit a little bit more. This is this preset in the M1 called The Planets. There it is. And then it's got a bit of chorus on that, bit of drum bus. Drum bus, you can see, so overrated. Like, you can even use drum bus on your pads like this, and it just makes them so much more full. Like, if I turn this off, it's not going to blend as well in the mix. You can hear it's just so much more of a background element. You can hear when I turn that on, all of a sudden it like really becomes a part of the track. So yeah, and then there's also like this layer. So this is a 303 sample actually. It's from this Vengeance Essential Club Sounds. Really underrated pack. If you're trying to make techno, especially techno that has like this kind of like old school ravey influence to it. There it is. It's just a 303 sample. I just put it in here. And then I've got it going through some echo. And then I've got a bit of distortion. The distortion after the echo can be cool, especially if you're using like an amp, where you can hear like it just takes the sound and adds so much color to it. It really brings out the echo, and it can add a really nice character to it that you wouldn't get putting the echo after the distortion. Then we just got some drum bus to fatten it up. I've got a tuner because I wanted to make sure it was in tune. We got an auto filter, which is just being automated at some different points like there. And then just an EQ cutting out the line. And then, yeah, I'm trying to see other stuff here. We've got, like, the effects down here. You can see the effects are actually pretty minimal with this track. Like, I'd say this is, like, pretty minimal compared to a lot of my other tracks I've shown you guys. It's just not, like, a whole lot of stuff. Like, it's mainly just little things like this. You know, just like these like old school kind of effects, or like this thing. You know, just putting like a doom there, like a bar before the drop. It's just little stuff like that to carry it along. It's like with the effects in this style, I try to think of it less like, okay, we need a big riser and we need this because we need it. And more so, I'm just thinking about like, what is going to carry this into the next part? Like a good example of that would be here. Like, so we have that same thing there. Listen to if I turn all those effects off. Kind of feels like it needs something to carry it along into the next part, right? So that's what this does. And it's like when I'm putting these together, I'm just thinking from a place more of like necessity and what it really needs, rather than like, okay, again, like we're going to just put up when it drops, and we're going to make sure there's a riser in the build-up just for the sake of having a riser. So, yeah, that is the effects. Like I said, they're really not that complicated. And that's pretty much it for this project file. Like I said, you know, it's a really simple track. It's all about just coming up with like a nice vibe and a nice idea, and then kind of just turning that into something simple that is going to be really effective. When you go to a club and listen to techno, like just keep in mind all those moments where you just hear like literally just a kick. Like all of a sudden the whole track will be playing and you'll just hear doom, 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 doom. Like simple really always is better with this style. You're always just trying to communicate a lot with a few elements as opposed to having a lot of elements that communicate a little bit with each one. So, yeah, thank you so much, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. As always, make sure to like this video as well as subscribe. And let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, my new EP just came out featuring this track and 2 other really dope ones. I hope you guys are all going to love it. The link to check that out is in the description. Definitely go check it out if you like this track. If you want to support me, you can also check out my sample packs in the description. I've got a bunch of really great cheap sample packs to get you started with making techno like this. And yeah, thank you so much, guys, and I will see you tomorrow with another video.